with us today, Mr. Bukola Ido. Welcome to Sara TV.
Thank you very much.
So we'll be talking to you about the preparation of INEC for this election. How well do you think the Electoral Commission is prepared for this election?
Yes, I think this election that will be taking place tomorrow, to our own assessment, I think INEC is really prepared for the elections. One of the things we have been looking at is the aspect of, in terms of their deployments. And as we talk, as most of the deployment has been made in terms of even including the sensitive materials. So that shows that they are really ready. Don't forget also in terms of testing the beavers. The beavers is just the new machine INEC will be using. They've conducted a mock election like about 2 weeks ago, and that shows it's also an avenue to test the machine. Now, but the issue here is on paper and looking at everything they have done. To me and to us, we always say they are ready for the election. PVC collection ended yesterday, so we are expecting new figures today. So you will say they are ready. However, on the field on election day, their actual readiness, we need to now begin to gauge that, because this is just a day to the election. So we will now begin to see how truly they are ready in terms of the performance of the ad hoc staff, in terms of the functionality of their equipment, in terms of the knowledge of their ad hoc staff, in terms of their collaboration with the security agencies. So, but as it is now, everything has been set for the election tomorrow, but the actual performance on the day is the major thing.
As part of INEC's preparation, there have been creation of new polling units. Do you think this is coming at the right time, because it's a few days to election, and some people might not know where they'll be voting? So do you think this is actually coming at the right time?
Well, I think it's coming at the right time. For me, it's coming at the right time. Now, the publicity is another conversation. So it's coming at the right time. Whether INEC now have done absolute or complete adequate publicity for people to know where they are voting is another conversation. And why am I saying it's coming at the right time is because you find out that the polling unit we have been using has been on maybe since 2006. And you will agree with me, in most states in Nigeria, Ekiti State inclusive, you have new locations. We conducted a research, and we were asking them why, what can bring you out to vote? And many of them said, look, if the polling unit is close to my house, I'm going to vote. Don't forget again, there is no going to be means of public transportation that day, so you are not going to, there's going to be restriction of vehicular movement. So people want a place they can just trek 10, 15 minutes, perform their civic duty and go back home. But what we had in the past is, even if you have moved to your new location, to your permanent site, you still have to calm down. So it makes it difficult. Probably that is one of the reasons why we have been having low voter turnout. But the challenge now that I foresee is in terms of publicity. Do people know where that polling units are? Do people know where there is? And that is why it's one of the things we'll be tracking tomorrow, so that as we approach Osun election, they can make an improvement.
Talking about people coming out to vote, there have been reports of violence, pre-election violence. Do you think this will in any way affect voters' turnout tomorrow?
Of course, there is a way violence affects voters' turnout in two ways. Number one, parents are going to begin to warn their children, their ward, not to go out and vote. And again, people look, nobody wants to die because of an election. So the people want to stay at home and then be safe than to say they want to go out and vote and then witness violence. So the violence that took place few weeks back, few days back, is major setback in terms of voter turnout. However, when you also look at the statistics of the election violence, electoral related violence itself, it's been low. So we just hope that that is going to cancel that. And again, the candidate have signed a peace accord Away of Ado Ekiti have caused some of these people to speak to them, and so we expect that, of course, that will increase the confidence in the electoral process. But if you ask me, whenever there is violence, it tends to reduce voter turnout.
Looking at the presence of the security personnel in Ekiti, 17,000 police are being drafted to Ekiti for the purpose of the election. Just supposing that with past election, do you think the security personnel will be able to curb any form of violence?
So this, I mean, my opinion about this may not be popular, but this has been the issue. Now, the IGP, the AIG, or anybody will just roll out figures for us and say they are deploying 17,000. In Anambra, they said they were deploying over 20,000, but they're thereabouts. But the question is this: who verified this number? Two things are happening. They release this figure to say, look, they are deploying 17,000, so that on paper, multiply the amount they are to be paid times 70,000. So, but in the actual sense, do we have 17,000 policemen on ground? Because nobody is monitoring. So it's also a channel of corruption, where you say you are deploying 70,000, in the actual sense you deploy 10,000. Where is the money for the remaining 17,000 people? So people are not monitoring, and that is why on election day, you don't even, when you start counting, you don't even have, there are polling units, there are places you don't even have police presence. You will have to now begin to see probably the civil defense. In some places you will see immigration and custom. But where are these 17,000 people? Where are the 20,000 people they deploy every time? It's an avenue for corruption most times. But again, we need to now begin to investigate. The other aspect of it is this: they deploy these people, journalists, civil society, see them at the state capital. But are they truly, fully on ground in the local government? It's another conversation. And we have had issues where these people stay in the state capital with no logistic, with no vehicle to transport them to various local government, to the interiors. So this has always been what we have. However, if we can have the 17,000, well, it's going to curb a lot of things. No, it's going to curb a lot of insecurity around the election. But for how long? So in Osun, we will deploy another number. In 2023, what is going to happen? Do we have that capacity to deploy across Nigeria? And that is why we have been having issues. So I think this, as important as security is, we need to begin to track those numbers. Are they truly on ground? Because from past insinuation, it has been an avenue to siphon fund. You understand? You say you are deploying 17,000, you don't have the 17,000, somebody still take their money. You have seen policemen complain that they have not received their money. You know, so these are the issues. These are the issues on ground. But if we are to truly deploy the 17,000, we are going to have a peaceful election.
Voter seducement has been a very, it's becoming a popular thing in the politics of Nigeria. And during the week we saw a chieftain of the APC, Bola Tinubu, publicly telling electors, come out, vote for us and get money. How do you think this affects the outcome of the election?
From our reports, and we've predicted. I mean, if you look at our reports, one of the things we pasted there, our prediction is going to be there's going to be widespread, in fact, let me say ridiculous votes buying that is going to happen in this election. And that is why the shifting of APC can boldly say that. You understand? I mean, one of the things he said is that if you don't vote, there is no money. You know, so and don't also forget the concept of Diboko Sebe, you know, I mean, which is like so and when you look at what is happening, Ekiti State as it is, as in terms of food prices, is the highest in Southwest. You know, and this is where people are beginning to see 2,000 as a whole lot of money, because they know what they are going to get. be able to buy with that. So I think one of the things that is going to happen in this election is that there's going to be widespread of vote buying. But it can be curbed. If the security agencies, INEC, will do what they're supposed to do, it can be curbed. Most especially INEC.
So the other part of the question was the implication of vote buying in this election.
The implication of vote buying is that we are not going to get the best candidate is not going to is not going to win the election. So the candidate that is going to win the election is the one that has the highest money, is the one that can pay more. So that is what we are going to witness in this election. It is not about the popular candidate. It is about who can spend more money. So if party A is spending 5,000, party B is spending 7,000, and party C is spending 10,000, people want to go to the highest bidder, not necessarily because the highest bidder or the highest demand that pay most have a robust manifesto for the state. So it's just because, he has more money and let me go and take it. And you know what the politicians are doing now? They monitor the votes, and that is why some agents, are strategically positioned at this polling unit where when you vote, you stylishly show them, and then when they confirm where you vote, they give you your money. So, and that is where it is. So it's difficult to say you are not going to vote, you are going to collect the money, but I'm not going to vote for them.
So
It's difficult.
What kind of civil society in relation to other parties?
Yeah, the best the civil society organization can do is to keep campaigning. But it's difficult to campaign, and let's be realistic. It's difficult to do this campaign. I'm telling you, don't collect the money. But there is poverty in house. Inflation rate is high. People find it difficult to hit. The issue of the government. Inflation everywhere. You look at prices of food has skyrocketed. So, a lot of people are in poverty. So, unemployment rate is high, and they want to say, and then you say, don't collect the money. But of course, that is what we can do. But the low-hanging fruit again is, can INEC stick to a layout of the polling unit that make it difficult for citizens to show the agent who they are voting for? That will really, really curb this. So which means people can still, so they now begin to say, look, it's difficult to track this money we are paying, and then they withdraw. But so as far as they can track the money, as far as the layout shows, allows citizens to show who they are voting for before they put it there, then it's going to continue. So the low-hanging fruit, INEC can do what they can do. Then again, the security agency should do what they can do. And we also want to see those who have been arrested in the past, how many of them have been prosecuted. So that is, in 2019, we have over 1,426 people with various electoral offenses. None of them has been in jail. None of them has been successfully prosecuted. So what happened? So what it means is that at some point, people commit electoral offense, which vote buying is all of them. Either you are selling, whether you are buying, and then they still go scot-free. So, but maybe by the time somebody becomes an ex-convict because of vote buying, other people will learn to comport themselves in the right way.
There have been calls for introduction of e-voting in Nigeria electoral system. Do you think Nigeria, the electoral system, this climb, it's ripe for e-voting?
Well, I think we are ripe for e-voting, and if you look at what INEC is doing, it's still e-voting, but they are just doing it in phases. Your registration is online. You come, you use machine to do your physical capturing. On the election day, your accreditation is BVAS. So the only thing remaining is the actual voting, where you can press your finger with the machine. That is e-voting. However, people need to understand that that is totally different from internet voting, because people think internet voting is the same thing as e-voting. So when you bring the machine, you still have to go to the polling unit and vote through the machine. That is e-voting. Internet voting is where you sit in your house and you can vote. You can vote anywhere in Nigeria. You know, so if I mean people who are citizens of Ekiti and vote, if they are in Abuja, they can vote. You know, that is internet voting. But if you ask me, we are not ripe for that. But in terms of e-voting, we are ripe. And we expect INEC to introduce that as soon as possible. That alone is also going to curb vote buying, because you are not coming to begin to look at the machine who I voted for. That is going to eradicate the ballot paper. So if I vote in the ballot paper, I still show it to the agent who pays me. So am I going to carry the machine to show you? So it's going to reduce it. So I think we are ripe for that.
So what's your final word for the electorate tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the electorate need to go out tomorrow and make sure, no matter the itch they have been around the election, they still have to come up with the determination to vote. You know, even if the beavers is not working at the initial stage, they should not be discouraged. They should just get out tomorrow and vote peacefully. That is the most important thing. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bukom.